Hey folks, Rachana Ranade here, and I welcome you all to a very informative video wherein we are going to talk about stocks which are in focus because of budget 2024. I hope you have seen my yesterday's live stream wherein I discussed the entire budget at length. The whole budget speech was around 1 hour and my explanation was also around 1 hour. So I hope you have understood about the budget in detail. So what we are going to do today is we are going to understand about certain stocks which could have some connection with the budget announcements. But before I move on to the stocks, of course, basic disclaimers, these are not stock recommendations. Even if you do your own analysis and if you decide to enter or exit or whatever, I always believe that this is a long-term story that we are discussing. This is not about intraday or buy today, sell tomorrow, one week, 1 month. What I am discussing right now is a minimum election to election story. At least a 5-year story is what I'm discussing. So with all these things in your mind, let's get started. So first we are going to understand the point on renewables. So if you see here in the budget, it was very clearly mentioned that this is one of the strategies of Amrit Kal, where sustainable development was given absolute importance, wherein it was mentioned that yes, we are committed to net zero by 2070. Rooftop solarization was given importance, e-buses was given importance, and also the overall percentage increase in non-fossil fuel installed electric capacity, that was also discussed, that yes, it has increased quite a bit and they also intend to increase it further, right? Now we have to understand what could be certain stocks which are into the renewable space. Now here there could be 2 points. Point number one, we talk about companies which are into the manufacture of solar panels or manufacture of the windmills or what. Or second category could be the ones who are financing the renewables theme. And for that, I believe, and I have talked about these stocks quite a bit on my channel. The first one is REC, second one is PFC, and third one is IREDA or IREDA. Now, if I were to talk about few basic points, be it REC, be it PFC, both are into what? Both are into financing power related projects, right from power generation to power distribution. If I'm talking about IREDA, IREDA is, the RE is nothing but renewable energy, right? So they finance those projects which focus specifically on the renewable energy space. Now, if I were to understand some important point, just focus here. For IREDA, they are going to finance only renewable energy projects. Agreed. But if I'm talking about renewable energy as an entire sector, question is from whom do they get financing? Okay. For that, if you have a look at this chart, you will understand that out of the total renewable sector, how much money from which company they have got share in credit. IREDA has given 31% to the renewable sector. PFC has given 32%. So even though IREDA is 100% into renewables, PFC has given a higher share in the renewable energy sector. If I'm talking about REC, still 19%. So all these, I think, are again stocks to keep in your watch list. Now, if I were to understand about a fair comparison between these three, REC, PFC and IREDA, first of all, understand that if I talk about first stock PE, REC is available at 10 ka PE, PFC at 8, and IREDA at 60. That's a huge one, right? If I talk about ROCE, 9.14, 9.08 and 8.17. So REC is the best for ROCE. Wow. REC is best for ROCE. Nice. For ROE, PFC and REC are the same. IREDA is a bit lower. Of course, if I'm talking about one or two more important points, which is about sales growth, REC sales growth 16%, PFC at 9.46 and IREDA at 21.8. And even if I'm talking about 3-year sales growth, IREDA is better as compared to these two. Profit growth, again, IREDA is a shade better as compared to these two. But all in all, if you talk about how big the company is, for that if I take you to the market cap, REC, PFC are way bigger as compared to IREDA. Well, this is just a base level comparison. If you want to know more into detail about REC, I've made a separate video. Please go and check that out. If you want to know more about IREDA, I've made another separate video. You can also check that out as well. Now, before I move on to the next sector, I would quickly want to show you one interesting fact about REC. If I go to the shareholding pattern and if I go to the promoters of REC, you will see that one of the key promoters, 52.63, is PFC. So for REC, PFC is the holding company. Let me know in the comment section whether you knew this fun fact or not. Now let's go on to the next one, which is tourism. Now for tourism, it was made very clear that it's going to be a joint effort. Not only center is going to be focusing on tourism, but it's going to be center and state. If combined efforts are put in the same direction, then the pace at which a specific sector grows would be a shade higher. So for that, have a look at this. And it was very clearly mentioned in the speech yesterday that states will be encouraged to undertake development of iconic tourist centers to attract business and promote opportunities for local entrepreneurship. Long-term interest-free loans to be provided to states to encourage development, and also projects for port connectivity, tourism infrastructure, amenities will be taken up in islands, including Lakshadweep. So this was very clearly mentioned in yesterday's budget speech. I can think about three companies, three hotels. One is ITDC, one is EIH, and the third one I can think of is Indian Hotels. Okay. First, ITDC is a government of India undertaking. If I'm talking about EIH is a flagship company of Oberoi Group, which all key brands come up under this. It could be Oberoi, Trident, Maidens. All these are the brands under EIH Limited. And if I'm talking about Indian Hotels, of course, it's a Tata Group company, and the main brands under this one could be Taj, Vivanta, Ginger. Okay. Now, with this basic understanding, yes, all these are hotels and can be easily linked with the tourism aspect of yesterday's budget. Now, let's understand about some financial aspects of these three companies. Now, if I were to understand the market cap, ITDC is a small cap, EIH is like a mid cap, Indian Hotels is a large cap. If I were to understand the stock PE, have a look at this. ITDC is at 98 ka stock PE, whereas Indian Hotels is 61 and EIH is 46. Industry PE is 40. So all are above industry average, but at least EIH is a shade closer to the industry average. If I'm talking about ROE, ROC in both parameters, ITDC is better. If I talk about debt to equity, more or less similar. If I talk about sales growth, EH has the highest sales growth. Even if I talk about sales growth 3 years, then ITDC is a shade better. If I'm talking about profit growth, again ITDC is a bit better. And all in all, I mean, you can of course just, there is also one more point I wanted to cover. Yes, OPM, operating profit margin. For OPM, EH and Indian Hotels are definitely way too better as compared to ITDC. As I mentioned, all these are just like, base points. You need to do a deep down fundamental analysis before you take any decision. Just also wanted to add up one more point. If I'm talking about Indian Hotels, their results just came few days ago, and if you see here, their sales is at an all-time high, their operating profit is an all-time high. Look at the OPM percentage, it has gone up to 37 again, way better as compared to past quarters. If I'm talking about PBT as well, just have a look at the profit surge. PBT September 23 was 232 crores and right now it is 605 crores. Huge jump. Even if I'm talking about YOY, from 494 crores to 605 crores. This is about EIH. This is about Indian Hotels. If I'm talking about EIH, their results are due mostly on the 6th, sorry, and even ITDC is yet to come up with the results. So do a detailed analysis and then take your own decision. Let's move on with the next theme, which is railways. And I'm sure you have heard about all the announcements. Of course, the major announcement was made about renewing almost 40,000 bogies, and they were going to be converted as per the Vande Bharat standards, right? But ultimately, the moment I talk about creating more and more bogies, I can think about companies which are creating wagons, but at the same time, I can also think about a company which is going to finance them. And the obvious company is IRFC. I've already made a separate video on this. I hope you have already seen this. If not, don't forget to watch this video after watching this video. With that, let's move on the next talk, which is about defense. And I hope you read in yesterday's budget where it was very clearly mentioned that a new scheme will be launched for strengthening deep tech technology for defense purpose and expediting Atmanirbhar Bharat. So, of course, not only about deep tech, the moment we are talking about defense, we are talking about Atmanirbhar Bharat. Of course, I can think about one company from the defense sector, which is HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics Limited. Of course, there's also one more good company, which is BEL. You can also check that out. So let's move on with HAL. And if you just quickly read out here, HAL, Hindustan Aeronautics, is engaged in the business of manufacture of aircrafts and helicopters and repair maintenance of aircrafts and helicopters. So if you see here very clearly given, what do? They manufacture what? Aircrafts and helicopters, and also repair and maintenance again of what? Aircrafts and helicopters. Now if I were to understand the profitability of this company, of course sales, OPM, profitability, everything, you can see here sales at an all-time high at TTM. If I'm talking about operating profit, pretty good at 6,636 crores. If I were to understand the OPM, almost highest, 25% was the highest, but right now TTM at 24%. PBT at an all-time high of 6805 crores. All in all, if you see your last 1 year, if I'm talking about TTM, stock price CAGR has given a mind-blowing upside. But of course, we should not look only at what is happening with the stock price. We also have to understand the fundamentals and then take a call. Again, as I mentioned, I'm repeatedly telling this is just a very base level understanding about the fundamentals. You have to dig down deep before you take a final call. I hope you enjoyed this video. What happened? Did I discuss only 8 stocks? Well, I'm not going to tell you all 10 stocks. It is you who are going to tell me the balance 2 stocks. Where? In the comment section below. If you tell me your top 2 picks from the budget, and if you tell me with analysis, I would be more than happy to pin your comment. I'm going to read through all the comments and I'll see who is giving the best analysis. Right? So 8 stocks from my side, 2 stocks from your side. That's how we learn together. I hope you enjoyed this one. Till then, take care. Jai Hind and bye bye.